Stop scrolling right now, because what I'm about to tell you will either change your life or make you extremely uncomfortable. Maybe both. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. You're either playing the game or you're getting played. There's no middle ground. You felt it your whole life, haven't you? That sick feeling in your gut when someone less talented than you gets the promotion? That rage when someone less qualified gets the opportunity? You work your butt off. You play by the rules. You're nice. You're competent, and you get absolutely nowhere. Meanwhile, there are people out there who seem to glide through life effortlessly commanding respect, wielding influence, making things happen with a single phone call. What do they know that you don't? That's what we're about to unpack. And I'm warning you right now, once you see what I'm about to show you, you can't unsee it. You'll never look at powerful people the same way again. Listen up. The world is split into two categories, and only two: the players and the pieces. You've experienced this your entire existence. You walk into a room and boom, you're invisible. Meanwhile, certain people command attention without saying a single word. They get the opportunities. They get the respect. They get the power. And you grind harder. You try to be nicer. You try to prove you're competent, but you're ignored, overlooked, passed over, left sitting there, wondering why your talent isn't enough, why your goodness doesn't get rewarded. Here's the brutal, ice-cold truth that society is way too polite to tell you. Power doesn't give a damn about your intentions. It only cares about your leverage. You've been trying to connect with powerful people by being a friend. Big mistake. Massive. Because powerful people don't need more friends. They've got plenty of those. What they need are assets. They need mirrors. They need protection. They need solutions to problems that keep them up at 3 in the morning. If you want to enter the circles where the real decisions get made, where the money flows, where the deals happen, where the future gets shaped, you've got to kill the part of you that's constantly seeking validation. You've got to stop asking for permission to exist in spaces you've already earned the right to be in. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote The Prince over 500 years ago, and it wasn't some guide for psychopaths or villains. It was a manual for reality. A handbook for how the world actually works when you strip away all the Disney fairy tale BS we've been fed since kindergarten. Machiavelli understood something fundamental. Human nature at its core is driven by self-interest, fear, and vanity. That's it. Those are the 3 pillars. If you ignore this reality, you will always be a pawn. But if you master it, you become the hand that moves the pieces. You become the architect of your own destiny. In the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to completely dismantle the lies you've been told about networking. We're going to explore Machiavelli's 13 ruthless laws of connection. And let me be crystal clear, these aren't tips. These aren't life hacks you saw on some cringe Instagram post. These are psychological weapons, warfare tools for the mind. By the end of this video, you will no longer look at a powerful person and see a superior being on some pedestal. You'll see a puzzle, a system, a pattern, and you'll hold the only key that solves it. But I'm warning you, and I mean this, once you see the strings, you can never go back to being a puppet. You ready? Let's get into it. Most people fail at connecting with power because they approach it with an open hand, literally begging for a favor. They think connection is about being yourself. That's garbage. Complete garbage. Being yourself is a luxury reserved for people who already have power. For those of us climbing the mountain, scrambling our way up. Connection is about strategic adaptation. It's about becoming exactly what the other person needs to see until you're so deeply embedded in their world that they literally cannot function without you. But how do you pull this off without losing your soul? How do you manipulate the perception of the elite without becoming some pathetic sycophant? Some yes man who's just kissing butt all day long? The answer lies in understanding what I call the void. But to grasp the void, you first need to understand the 13 laws. So let's break them down. One by one. Law 1. Never outshine the master. The first massive mistake you make is trying too hard to impress. You meet someone influential, someone with real juice, and your ego immediately takes the wheel. You want to show them how smart you are, how capable, how much you know about their industry. You think this earns respect. Wrong. Dead wrong. It breeds insecurity. Here's something they don't tell you in business school. Powerful people are often the most fragile. Their entire identity is constructed on being the smartest person in the room, the strongest, the most visionary. If you come in shining too bright, burning too hot, you don't look like an asset. You look like a threat, a competitor, someone to neutralize. Machiavelli warned us straight up. It's always dangerous to appear better than your superiors. When you make your superior look bad, or even just lesser by comparison, you trigger their survival instinct, and they will bury you. Not because you're incompetent, quite the opposite. They'll bury you because you're dangerous to their ego, their entire sense of self. So what's the play here? Dim your light. Make them look brilliant. When you offer an idea, frame it in a way that makes it seem like their idea, or at least like you're building on their genius. Ask questions that allow them to give the answer, to feel smart, to feel like the mentor. Feed their vanity like you're watering a plant. This isn't weakness. This is camouflage. This is strategy. By allowing them to feel superior, you lower their defenses. You become safe in their eyes. And once you're safe, you're allowed inside the walls, inside the castle. While they're busy admiring their own reflection in the mirror you're holding up, you're quietly observing their weaknesses, learning their patterns, mapping out their psychology, and securing your position. Let them have the spotlight. Let them have the glory. You take the influence. You take the actual power. Law 2. Conceal your intentions. A predictable man is a controllable man. If I know what you want, I know exactly how to use you. If I know you want money, I can buy you. If I know you want praise, I can flatter you into doing whatever I need. Most people wear their desires on their sleeves. It's written all over their faces. They walk up to powerful people and their eyes are practically screaming, "I need something from you. Please help me. Please notice me." This reeks of desperation. And desperation is the ultimate repellent in the world of power. It's like showing up to a first date and proposing marriage in the first 5 minutes. Nobody wants that energy. To connect with real power, you've got to be a cipher, a mystery, unreadable. Machiavelli advised, keep your friends close, but your intentions closer. Be enigmatic when you enter a room. Don't reveal your endgame right away. Don't immediately start talking business. Talk about everything except business at first. Talk about art, philosophy, their hobbies, the wine you're drinking, the city you're in, the architecture of the building, anything that humanizes the interaction and makes it feel natural, organic. Make them wonder why you're really there. Mystery creates attraction. It creates intrigue. When they can't figure out what you want, they become intrigued, curious, They start projecting their own desires onto you. They start chasing you to figure out the puzzle you represent. Never show your cards until the pot is yours. Be friendly. Be open. Be charming as hell. But keep the core of your ambition locked in a vault where no one, and I mean no one, can see it. The less they know about your true motives, the more power you hold in the negotiation. Always. Law 3, appeal to self-interest, never to mercy. This is where the nice guys get absolutely destroyed. You need a favor. You need a mentor. You need an investment or an opportunity. So, you go to a powerful person and you tell them your sob story. You talk about your struggles, how hard you've worked, how much you deserve a chance. You appeal to their sense of gratitude, their kindness, their morality, their humanity. And they might smile, they might nod sympathetically, they might even say encouraging things, but they will do absolutely nothing to actually help you. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Why? Because mercy is a burden. Powerful people are insanely busy. They're constantly getting bombarded by people asking for help, asking for handouts, asking for a quick favor that's never actually quick. If they helped everyone who claimed they deserved it, they'd be bankrupt and exhausted within a month. Machiavelli was brutally clear on this. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. But in the context of connection, it translates to this. It is better to be needed than liked. Do not ask for favors, offer transactions, but disguise the transaction as an alliance, as a partnership. Find out what they actually need. What's keeping them up at night? Do they have a rival they're trying to crush? Do they have a problem they can't solve with their current team? Do they have some vanity project that's failing and embarrassing them? Position yourself as the solution to their pain, as the answer to their prayers. When you speak to them, don't talk about your needs. Talk about their interests. I noticed you're struggling with X. I've got a way to fix it that'll save you time, money, and headaches. Now, you're not a beggar anymore. You're a partner. You're an asset. You're someone bringing value to the table. Self-interest is the only language that's universally understood across all cultures, all industries, all income levels. Speak it fluently, and doors will swing wide open for you. Law 4. The art of strategic absence. We live in a world of over-availability. Everyone's glued to their phones. You answer texts instantly. You say yes to every meeting request. You're always there, always available, always ready to drop everything. You think this shows dedication, loyalty, commitment. Actually, it signals low value. Desperation. Economic law applies directly to human behavior. Scarcity creates value. If you're always available, you're common. And common things are cheap, disposable, replaceable. Powerful people respect time because it's the only resource they genuinely cannot buy more of. Jeff Bezos can't buy another hour. Elon Musk can't manufacture more minutes. If you give your time away freely, like it's unlimited, you're telling them it's worthless, that you're worthless. Machiavelli knew that a prince who's seen too often becomes ordinary. Just another face in the crowd. You've got to learn the art of strategic withdrawal. Be warm when you're present. Be fully engaged. Make them feel like the only person in the world. Give them your complete attention. And then disappear. Vanish. Don't answer the phone on the first ring. Don't be available for coffee next Tuesday. Have a life. Have a mission. Have a schedule that doesn't revolve around them like they're the sun and you're some sad little planet. This does two critical things. First, It proves you're a person of genuine value who has other options, other opportunities, other people wanting your time. Second, it creates what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect, an open loop in their mind. They start wondering where you are, what you're doing, who you're meeting with. Your absence takes up mental real estate. It occupies space in their thoughts, and when you do return, when you do show up again, your presence is treated as a reward, not an obligation. Use absence strategically to stoke the fires of respect and desire. Law 5, the mirror of Narcissus. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Everyone is in love with themselves. Even the most humble-seeming leader is secretly obsessed with their own worldview, their own perspective. They desperately want to be understood. They crave validation of their reality, confirmation that they're right, that they're smart, that they see things clearly. Most people try to connect by talking about themselves. I did this. I think that. I believe this. It's all noise, static, white noise that powerful people tune out instantly. To genuinely connect with power, you must become a mirror. Reflect their image back to them, but slightly enhanced, slightly better than reality. If they're aggressive and fast-talking, you speed up your speech pattern. You adopt their posture, their energy level. If they're slow and thoughtful, methodical, you slow down. You become pensive and contemplative. Match their breathing rhythm. Match their vocabulary choices. If they use war metaphors, crushing the competition, taking no prisoners, you use war metaphors. If they use sports metaphors, hitting it out of the park, playing in the big leagues, you use sports metaphors. This isn't just simple mimicry, it's neurological synchronization. When you mirror someone effectively, their subconscious mind automatically labels you as same, as like me. And the human brain is wired to trust people who are like us. He's like me, therefore I can trust him. Therefore, he gets it. You're bypassing their logical brain entirely and speaking directly to their reptilian brain, the ancient part that makes snap judgments about friend or foe. People don't want to be challenged. They don't want friction. They want to be confirmed, validated, understood. Be the confirmation of their brilliance. When they look at you, let them see the best version of themselves staring back. They'll become addicted to your presence because you make them feel understood in a way no one else does. You become their drug. Law 6. Become the gatekeeper of information. In the old world, land was power. Whoever controlled the most territory won. In the modern world, information is power, but not just any information. Secret information, insider knowledge, intelligence that others don't have access to. Powerful people are often isolated. They're surrounded by yes men and brown nosers who tell them exactly what they want to hear. They're starving for the truth, desperate for the real pulse of what's happening on the ground level, in the streets, in the markets. If you can be the person who brings them valuable, unfiltered intelligence, real insights, not BS, you become indispensable. You become their eyes and ears in places they can't go themselves. Did you hear what the competition is planning? I found a flaw in the system that nobody's telling you about. There's a major shift happening in the market that you need to see before anyone else does. Don't be a gossip. Don't be some tabloid reporter spreading rumors. Be an intelligence spy, an intelligence officer. Curate information that either protects them from threats or gives them a competitive edge. When you trade in secrets, when you deal in valuable intelligence, you elevate your status dramatically. You're no longer an outsider looking in. You're a conspirator, an insider, part of the inner circle. And there's no bond stronger than the bond between co-conspirators. People who share secrets are bonded for life. But here's a critical warning. Never reveal all your sources. Maintain the monopoly on your information supply chain. If they can get the intelligence without you, if they can go directly to your sources, they don't need you anymore. Keep the source hidden. Deliver the fruit. Be the indispensable middleman. Law 7. The law of the useful enemy. Nothing bonds two people faster than a shared enemy. This is Sociology 101. We like people who hate the same things we hate. If you want to connect with a powerful person on a deep level, find out what they despise, what pisses them off, what keeps them up at night with frustration. Do they hate inefficiency? Bureaucracy? Do they hate a specific rival? A competitor? A philosophy? Do they hate the status quo? The way things have always been done? Align yourself with that hatred. Validate their frustration. I can't believe how mediocre this industry has become. It's exactly what you were saying last week. When you validate their enemies, you validate their struggle. You validate their heroism. You're essentially saying, I see the dragon you're fighting, and I'm here to hand you the sword. Let's slay this thing together. Be careful not to be purely negative, though. That's toxic and off-putting. It's got to be righteous indignation, noble anger. We are the few sane ones in a world gone mad. We're the ones who still care about excellence, while everyone else has given up. This creates a cult-like dynamic between the two of you. Us against the world, us against them. And in the trenches of that imaginary war, deep loyalty gets forged. Unbreakable bonds form. Law 8. Play to their fantasy. Machiavelli understood something profound. People don't live in reality. They live in their fantasies of who they think they should be, who they want to be seen as. The brutal CEO wants to see himself as a benevolent father figure, a mentor. The chaotic artist wants to see herself as a disciplined visionary. The insecure politician wants to see himself as a savior of the people. Your job is to identify their fantasy, the story they tell themselves, and play the perfect supporting role in that movie. If they want to be the wise teacher, you become the eager student. You ask them for advice. You let them lecture you. You let them feel wise and experienced. If they want to be the rebel, the disruptor, you become the accomplice, the partner in crime. If they want to be the king, the ultimate authority, you become the loyal knight who serves the throne. Do not force them to face their reality. Reality is painful. It's harsh and unforgiving. That's exactly why they have money and power, to insulate themselves from reality. If you're the one person who consistently supports their delusion, who reinforces their fantasy, they will protect you with their life. Because if you leave, if you're gone, the fantasy crumbles. The illusion shatters. You become the essential prop that holds up their entire self-image. Does this sound manipulative? Absolutely, it is manipulative. But remember, we're not talking about friendship here. We're not talking about genuine human connection based on mutual respect and love. We're talking about connecting with power, and power is theater. It's performance art. It's a stage. Learn your lines. Play your part. Give the performance of your life. Law 9. Mastery of emotional alchemy. Powerful people are high-stress individuals operating at insane pressure levels. They carry the weight of empires on their shoulders. Employees depending on them. Millions of dollars on the line. Investors breathing down their necks. Their internal world is often a raging storm of anxiety, pressure, and chaos. Most people add to that storm. They bring problems without solutions. They bring drama. They bring urgent emails and crisis after crisis. To be truly untouchable, to be irreplaceable, you must be the calm in their storm. You must be the emotional anchor they desperately need. When they're frantic, you're slow and methodical. When they're angry and reactive, you're steady and rational. You must learn to transmute their chaotic energy, absorb their stress, and reflect back clarity and solutions. I understand the problem. Here's the solution. It's handled. Those 3 words, it's handled, are the most seductive, powerful words you can speak to someone drowning in responsibility. You're taking weight off their shoulders. You're removing a burden from their overloaded plate. You become a sanctuary, a safe space. They'll start craving meetings with you, and it won't even be about the business anymore. It'll be about how you make them feel. You make them feel in control when everything else is spiraling into chaos. In a world of noise, be the silence. In a world of fire, be the water. If you can lower their cortisol levels, if you can reduce their stress, you can raise your price. You can ask for anything. Law 10. Assume formlessness. Machiavelli praised the fox for its ability to adapt to any situation. Bruce Lee said, "Be water, my friend." The rigid break. The flexible survive. When you're dealing with power, you absolutely cannot have a rigid ego. You cannot be stuck in one mode, one identity, one way of being. You've got to be adaptable to whatever the situation demands. Some days, you need to be aggressive and assertive. Other days, you need to be submissive and deferential. Some days, you need to be the leader, taking charge. Other days, you need to be the follower, supporting someone else's vision. Do not get emotionally attached to a single identity. If you insist on being yourself all the time, on maintaining this consistent personality, you will clash with people who don't fit your mold. You'll create unnecessary friction. Formlessness is your ultimate defense. If you have no fixed shape, you cannot be hit. You're impossible to pin down. If you have no rigid structure, you can fit into any keyhole, squeeze through any gap, adapt to any environment, adapt to the culture of the person you're connecting with. If they're formal and traditional, wear a suit, show up polished. If they're casual and laid back, wear jeans and a t-shirt. If they drink whiskey, you drink whiskey. If they're vegan, you respect that and adapt. Remove all friction. Make it effortless for them to assimilate you into their world, to see you as one of them. The perfect spy is the one who looks exactly like the citizens of the country they're infiltrating. Blend in completely so you can stand out strategically when it actually matters. Law 11. Create dependence. This is the ultimate Machiavellian law, the crown jewel. Make yourself absolutely necessary to those above you. If they can replace you with a LinkedIn job posting, if they can hire someone else to do what you do, you are fundamentally unsafe. Your position is vulnerable. You must weave yourself into the very fabric of their success. Find a task that they absolutely hate doing, but that's essential to their survival, and master it completely. Take ownership of a critical client relationship that they cannot afford to lose. Hold the keys to a system or process that only you truly understand. Become the bridge between them and something they desperately want or need. If you are the bridge, they cannot burn you. They can't afford to. Do not teach them how to do what you do. Keep the skills somewhat esoteric, somewhat mysterious. The more they rely on you for their peace of mind, for their success, for their sanity, the more power you actually have. Independence is a complete myth in the game of networking. The real goal is mutual entanglement, strategic codependence. You want them to wake up at 3 in the morning in a cold sweat, thinking, "My God, what would I do if M left?" How would I survive? Once you achieve that thought pattern in their mind, once you've planted that seed of dependence, you've won the game. You can ask for the raise. You can ask for the partnership. You can ask for equity, because you're no longer just an employee or a contractor. You're an essential organ in their body, and you don't cut out your own heart. Law 12. Control the options. The most powerful person in any room is not the one shouting orders or making demands. It's the one who wrote the menu, the one who framed the choices. When you present options to a powerful person, do not give them infinite possibilities. That causes decision fatigue, analysis paralysis. They'll freeze up. Curate the options strategically. We can do option A, which risks X, but gives us Y. Or we can do option B, which costs Z, but positions us for long-term dominance. Frame the choices so that the option you want them to pick is the only logical one, the only one that makes sense given the constraints. This is the illusion of control. You let them make the final decision so they feel like the king, like the one in charge, but you built the road they're walking on. You constructed the framework. You're the architect of their choices, Machiavelli advised. A wise prince should rely on what is in his own control, not on what is in the control of others. By controlling the framework of the conversation, by shaping the parameters of the decision, you control the outcome without them even realizing it. Never ask open-ended questions like, "What do you want to do?" That's lazy. That puts all the cognitive load on them. Instead, say, "Here are the 3 paths I recommend based on my analysis. Path 2 is the strongest for these specific reasons. What's your command? How should we proceed?" You're doing the thinking, the analysis, the strategic planning. They're doing the authorizing, the final approval. You are the architect, they are the signatory. And everyone's happy because they feel in control while you're actually steering the ship. Law 13. Radical autonomy. And here we arrive at the final law, the most important one. The paradox that makes all the other laws actually work in practice. To truly connect with powerful people, you must genuinely not need them. If your soul depends on their approval, if your self-worth is tied to their validation, they will smell it on you like cheap cologne. They will smell the hunger, the desperation, the neediness, and they will treat you like a fan, like someone beneath them. True power recognizes true power. You must cultivate a deep sense of radical autonomy. You must have your own kingdom, even if it's small. You must have your own code, your own vision, your own mission that exists independently of them. You must be genuinely willing to walk away from the deal if it doesn't serve you. The person who is willing to walk away holds all the leverage in any negotiation. Always. When you sit across from a billionaire, when you're in a room with someone worth hundreds of millions, you must know deep in your bones, deep in your marrow, that you will be absolutely fine without them. You're not there to take. You're not there to beg. You're there to trade value for value. This energy shift changes absolutely everything. Your voice drops an octave. It gets deeper, more grounded. Your eye contact holds a second longer without being creepy. You stop fidgeting with your hands. You become solid, still, centered. And that solidity is magnetic. It's intoxicating. Powerful people are profoundly lonely because everyone around them is fluid, constantly bending and adapting to their will, telling them what they want to hear. When they meet someone who is solid, someone who genuinely respects them, but doesn't worship them, doesn't need them, they are fascinated, intrigued. They want to understand you. Be the rock. Be the sovereign of your own mind and your own kingdom. place of wholeness, not from a place of lack or desperation. Take a breath. Seriously, let those laws settle into your consciousness. I know exactly what you're thinking right now. This sounds cold. This sounds calculating. This sounds manipulative. You're right. It is all of those things. But look around you for a second. Look at the actual world you're living in. Look at the structures of your company, your government, your society, your economy. Do you genuinely think they were built on hugs and transparency? On fairness and everyone holding hands singing Kumbaya? Or were they built on strategy, leverage, and a deep understanding of human nature? On power dynamics and calculated moves? You have a choice right now. You can remain innocent. You can cling to the comfortable idea that the world should be fair, that good people should be rewarded just for being good. You can stay in the passenger seat forever, complaining about the driver, blaming others for your lack of progress. Or you can grab the wheel. You can take control. Machiavelli was not evil. He wasn't some villain. He was honest, brutally, uncomfortably honest. He looked directly into the abyss of human behavior and didn't blink, didn't look away. He saw that we are fundamentally driven by fears, by ego, by the primal need for security and status. To use these laws is not to abuse people. It's to understand them better than they understand themselves. It's to speak to their shadows, their hidden motivations, not just their carefully constructed masks. When you apply these laws consistently, the dynamic shifts instantly, immediately. You stop being invisible. You stop looking for a savior, waiting for someone to rescue you or give you permission. You become the strategist, the architect, the one playing the game at a level most people can't even see. You realize that powerful people are just players who learned the rules earlier than you did. They're not superior beings. They're not gods. They're just people who figured out the game while you were still trying to understand why the game exists. And guess what? They're waiting. They're actively searching for someone real, someone who understands the dynamics, someone who gets it to walk through the door. That someone is you. Right now, the 13 laws are not chains that trap you. They're keys that unlock doors you didn't even know existed. But holding the keys is completely useless if you don't have the discipline, the courage to actually turn the lock. This level of psychological mastery is not a destination you arrive at. It's a daily practice, a constant refinement. The world is literally designed to put you back to sleep, to make you compliant, to make you a pawn in someone else's game. If you refuse to go back to the herd, if you're genuinely ready to sharpen your mind until it cuts through the noise like a blade, then make the choice right now. Don't just watch this video and forget about it in 5 minutes. Click that subscribe button, not to support the channel, although that's cool too, but to make a contract with yourself, to signal to the universe that you are done being a spectator. You're done watching from the sidelines. You're ready to enter the arena. Welcome to the inner circle. Let's get to work.